Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to Fred DeLay Gymnasium. Tonight, it is the Union University Lady Bulldogs taking on Brescia's Lady Bearcats. It is a team that has a lot of familiarity to the locals here, at least from years past, when they were very successful in the former NAIA tournament that was here for so many years. But not a school that has played Union head-to-head a great deal over the years. So we're going to be talking to head coach Mark Campbell about that and some other things here in the pregame show and during the first half of tonight's game. Mark, let's get into the whole situation last week in which you went on the road and you had a couple of games. You split them against some pretty massive competition. What were your takeaways from that?
I have lots of takeaways over the last four games. And I think that's the purpose of the last four games, is to really have a bunch of takeaways. So, to be honest with you, just that I've got to do a lot better job. And we weren't ready to play who I think is probably the best team in the country right now, and that's a Jury. So, it's a great experience for us, and no one awards trophies for anything that happened in November. And so, again, we're exposed a little bit. I know I was exposed as a coach. Our players have been exposed a little bit. Yet we're aware. And I think to be unaware is something that's a lot worse than being exposed. So,
you have tonight a Brescia team that, to be honest with you, I know what their record is at 2-6. And it's a team that in the past has had a rich history and tradition. They've been very successful. A lot of people got to know them when they were here in the tournament a number of years ago. But tell me what, if anything, you know about them coming into tonight.
Well, to be honest with you, back when they were in the NAI, Marty Rowe was their coach before he took the lead job, and he did a great job there. Michael Gray's there now. He's a gentleman. He's a great guy. And so for us, to be honest with you, after last Wednesday and Tuesday, we didn't play well on Tuesday either. Tonight's just about us. We got to figure out how we're going to pay attention to details and do our jobs really well. Take pride in doing those jobs really well, giving great effort, being great communicators, having great attitudes towards how we play, not necessarily bad attitudes like heart-wise, but just an attitude of how we play, and taking really a lot of pride and wanting to do it with excellence, which I did not think we did last week. And so, again, that's on me as a coach. But today will be about us. Are we going to play hard? Are we going to really take to heart the things that we are held responsible for and do those things to the best of our ability? And so tonight will be about that for us.
Mark, one of the things that happened with Drury is that they had such a massive first quarter that it made it very difficult for your team to really get back into the game. Largely playing in quarters, we've talked a lot about this over the last few years, but in playing in quarters, a lot of times we've seen that the first quarter and the third quarter can be extraordinarily crucial. The third quarter, it's sort of like moving day at the Masters for some teams. The first quarter, if you get out to a big lead at that point and can sustain it, it's very, very hard, just as it happened with Drury. What's your take on that as far as, sure, every quarter is important, but the first and third quarters of each game?
Well, they blitzed us in the first quarter. We weren't Drury presses the whole game, so we turned the ball over 28 times. 9 of those 28 were in the first quarter. And to be honest with you, the only thing I can think positive out of the game, watching our players play, was Bailey Augustine. And so she came out in the third and fourth quarter and really played well. Steve, I don't know. Being ready to play and being able to be consistent in the things we're responsible for, can we be confident in the things that we've been taught? I think that happens every quarter. And the teams that come out real strong in the first quarter aren't necessarily the teams that finish the game strong. And so, as you know as well as I do, really that last 10 minutes might be the most important part of the game. We're tired. We've gone through a whole lot. Are we able to respond to instead of react to those emotions? And Drury just did a good job. They punched us in the face early. We didn't handle the ball any better the rest of the game. And so, that first and third quarter were just as bad to me, even though the scores weren't as bad. I think we lost the game by 4 points in the last three quarters, and I don't think we played any better those last three quarters than we did the first one. we just turned the ball over a little less, and they shot the ball a little bit worse from three. But if you'd have told me we could have held Drury to 73 points, I would have told you we had a chance to win. And so if you take away points off of turnovers, I think we had 25 points off of turnovers. If we'd have just done that well, it'd have been the difference in the game, and we still wouldn't have played well. And so a long way to go, Steve. But I'm very thankful that I'm aware as a coach of how I can be better and provide a better avenue for them. And hopefully that starts tonight against Brescia.
Well, Mark, we want to wish you a lot of good luck on the floor, and we'll be talking to Mark during the first and second quarters of tonight's game to get more insight into what different aspects of the game are like. Also, our featured player of the week is Shanique Lucas, and so you'll be meeting with her at halftime. But right now, here are your starting lineups for tonight's game between Union and Brescia.
And we are live from Fred DeLay Gymnasium. Let's take a look at your starters for Brescia's Bearcats, who are from Owensboro, Kentucky. Head coach Mike Gray. Alicia Homer, she's the only one in double figures with 11 from Dry Ridge, Kentucky. Riley Collins averaging 5 per game. She's a senior from Irvington, Kentucky. Lindsay and Courtney Payton, the sisters, they're both sophomores from Madisonville, Kentucky, each averaging 4 points a game. And Jacqueline Jackson from Bowling Green, she is averaging 8 per game. Now let's flip it over to the Lady Bulldogs. Shanique Lucas, who is our featured player of the game tonight, you'll be seeing her up close and personal at halftime and during the second half. She's averaging 13 points and 6 rebounds a game, as is Ashton Baker, the grad transfer from Nesbitt, Mississippi. And then Jalencia Williams, she's got the offense that they count on tonight, 16 points and 10 rebounds per game. She's from Indianapolis. Bethany Dillard, she is from Arkansas, and she is also capable of delivering upper single digits in the game. And then Emily Beard Dunnigan, she is another graduate, and she is from Dixon, Tennessee, averaging 9 per game. And you'll probably see also Bailey Augustine getting a lot of action after what she did on the road trip last week. Let's go down for the start of tonight's game, the national anthem, and the introduction of our starting lineups.
And your Union Lady Bulldogs. Please be advised that Union University will sell conference in the NCAA, but with workmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. We request your cooperation by supporting the participants and officials in a positive manner, preventing racial or sexist comments and other intimidating actions directed at officials, student athletes, coaches, or team representatives will not be tolerated, and are grounds for removal from this type of competition. Thank you for your cooperation. At this time, please rise for the invocation and remain standing for the playing of our national anthem. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, thank you for this day you've given us. Thank you for the opportunity to gather here tonight and enjoy this game that we love. Thank you for these players and coaches and for all their dedication to the sport of basketball. We ask that all will compete this evening with good sportsmanship and be kept free from injury. May all that is done and said here tonight be your glory. In Jesus' name, amen.
teams. Brescia has struggled this season, 2-6 on the campaign, and they lost to both Bethel as well as to Free Tournament this past Saturday in two of their last games, and that's going to be a real struggle for them because they were pretty handy defeats. But again, this is a program that's in transition, and I look across the roster, and you just got a lot of freshmen and sophomores on this team, and Coach Gray is trying to grow them to become more competitive. This is going to definitely show them how good they have to be taking on a powerhouse like Union. And as Mark Campbell mentioned to us in the pregame show, that road trip was brutal last week. Even though the Union split 2 games, Mark did not feel his team, as Shanique Lucas comes out, he did not feel his team played well at all during the course of the games against Truman State when they won 67-60, but then losing to the third-ranked team in the country, Drury College of Missouri, which happens to be the alma mater of Bob Barker and a former boss of mine, David W. Richardson. And Union got deeply behind in the first quarter and ended up losing 73-56 to Drury, and Mark said it was not a very happy performance whatsoever. You'll be hearing a few more things that Mark has to say about that and other elements of the game and the season when we take timeouts during the first and second quarters. And as I mentioned, our feature player of the game is Shanique Lucas. We'll be visiting with her at halftime. I had an opportunity to visit with her yesterday, and I think you're going to find out not only is she an international player, she's a multi-international player. She is listed from her native state, native nation of Papua New Guinea. But I have to tell you, she's lived in China, in Thailand, so she's been all over the world. And now in Jackson, Tennessee, as she is in her junior year, and her sister, who is redshirting, and that's, they call her Kay, but it's Kasharna Lucas, and it is going to be, I think, a family tradition as they continue. We get the Lucas sisters here at Fred DeLay Gymnasium. But you'll hear about what her Union experience has been like. To jump it, it's going to be Lindsay Payton against Jalencia Williams, and let the games begin. Union with the tip. Lady Bulldogs would be heavily favored in this game, but as Mark Campbell said, they have to show that they are worthy of being able to be on this floor tonight and shake off the cobwebs of last week. And Williams with an easy layup. Union going to a modified half-court trap, only 2 players up front. Mark, it was a brutal pre-conference schedule that he had going down to Winter Haven, Florida, and losing that on out of bounds that goes back to Union. Going down to Winter Haven, Florida, and splitting a couple and doing the same thing when they went to Missouri this past week. But then also the game that he scheduled, our last TV game against Central Missouri, a narrow victory after getting a big lead early in the game, 79-75. And the high arcing 3 is there, and Emily Dunnigan has done it again. Lady Bulldogs off to an easy 5-0 lead. Not a huge turnout for this one, and we really didn't expect it. The little short jumper goes through. So a nice beginning. And they try to lob it on the inside to Williams, and she loses it completely. Excellent defense as they double-team her. Homer, who is the leading scorer, bringing it down, going for the tying basket. It's not there, and Lucas the rebound. Union's got 3-on-1. And the jumper. Yes. Ashton Baker with her first basket to make it a 7-2 game. This is one of those, the students just got back, most of them, to campus yesterday for the final week of classes that started today. I can tell you their calendars are primarily attuned to the fact that they only have 4 more days of school before finals. And the way it is with a lot of professors, and I used to be one, I can tell you that most of their interest and concern right now is being able to get those final papers, presentations, and exams prepared. All the way down, and Ashton could not get the angle right on the layup. Wide open underneath. Nobody back home to pick up Lindsey Payton, and so Mark Campbell's calling timeout. Did not like what he saw. So, as we take timeout, we ask Mark about how he goes about putting together a non-conference schedule each year before he gets into the heart of the conference race.
You better know yourself well. I'm super relational. I want to enjoy the girls. And sometimes because I do that, I'm not as much aware of some of maybe the weak parts in us as a team. And I know that's my weakness. It's my strength as well. And so the only way that gets my attention is playing really good teams that make me aware of how we're not very good in certain areas. It changes my mood a little bit. I haven't been as nice the last week, and that's not good either. The Lord's sanctifying me in those ways still. But it does get my attention. So I've been, my personality is once I know something, I can do something about it. I'm going to try to do the very best I can to make sure that we cover every base to get better at those things. And I think that's what that schedule is like for me, is it allows my personality to be confronted, and so that I can get focused on the things that are going to help our team be successful.
Well, we'll hear more about how Mark assembles this non-conference schedule that had, as I say, if you want to talk about something being brutal, so many of the top Division II teams in the country. He took them up to play the University of Louisville in an exhibition game, and they're attempting to get everything ready, and here we go. And Mark called that timeout primarily because he just did not like the precision on the part of this team. Inside to Williams, and she overshot it, but gets the follow. Going from left to right doesn't seem to be as easy for Jalencia, but she managed to dominate. She's going to dominate the glass against this Brescia team that is less experienced. This is Homer. And this is a very disciplined team, again, doing a lot of motion behind the perimeter. They know they're not going to be able to go inside. It's going to go back to Brescia with 6 seconds remaining on the shot clock. They know they can't really run with this Union team, and they know they're going to have a difficult time getting it into the inside against Williams. They're going to have to hurry. And Homer is just picked up quickly by Baker. They may not get this one off. I don't think they knew that there were only 6 seconds left on the shot clock, so there's a 30-second violation. A reminder, we'll be with you again on Thursday night. It will be the opening conference doubleheader of the season as the Bulldogs and Lady Bulldogs will be taking on Shorter, which has always been a tough one for them. From the corner, the three is there. Excellent job on the outside. And that's what Leah Caldwell brings to the table. She's got a tremendous three-point shot. I said it's Lee that is going to be, Shorter is going to be Saturday afternoon, but I'm going to tell you about where to find the games this weekend, because this is on, for those of you watching E+ TV6, this is going to be TSSAA as the steal is taken and the foul. Trying to get it back very quickly, and the foul's called on Lindsey Payton. And checking in is Paige Van Zandt, who gave a tremendous showing of herself in their last game off the bench, hitting in double figures. She's from Russellville, Kentucky, and she is a 5'4" sophomore. But as I was mentioning, this is TSSAA High School Football State Championship weekend, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday on E+ TV6. And on the drive inside, the foul is called on Jacqueline Jackson. So you will see games at 11, 3, and 7. Thursday will be the private schools, and then Friday and Saturday will be the public schools in their state championships. So you will be able to see the two conference doubleheaders live as you get the big three from the corner for Baker that's just a bit short. You'll be able to see Union University basketball this weekend live on uuathletics.com on the Union Digital Network. But if you are going to be watching on E+ TV6. Those games will be taped for airing later. I think we're trying to work out to see if it can air on Sunday afternoon. I'll try to bring you that information perhaps even before tonight's game is over with. Inside, Williams, no contest. This can be just a give and go all night long because she just has too much of an advantage on the inside. And it's a 14-4 lead for Union. Taking it to the inside, and the iron was unkind. The rebound coming off to Lucas. And Shanique, watch her on that right to left drive. Inside going to Jalencia again. And Jalencia tried to get a backdoor give and go, but they managed to save it after it's missed. And she drives inside and draws the foul. Even double teaming, there's just not much way that this Brescia team can stay on the inside with her, and Jackson is charged with the foul. So Williams goes to the line for two. Union, so far on the season, 71% from the free throw line. Lady Bulldogs averaging 71 a game. They're giving up 67. But part of that is because of the just brutally tough schedule that they have played. Going for the fourth victory in 6 outings, and then the conference race starts for real. I just wanted to be on camera for about a half second there so everybody could see me say hello to you. Jalencia missing on the 2 free throws and trying to take down a left-hand layup that does not go, and it's hard for them to also get offensive rebounds. Mark's already gone to his bench. And underneath, Thompson overshoots it. You're going to see a lot of players play in this one for both teams tonight. And again, staying outside the perimeter. A little bit of a drive down the baseline and stepping out of bounds, so Union has it. This has just been very, very difficult against this tough Union man-to-man defense to be able to defend. And Union will play it underneath. Bailey Augustine, who is the one player Mark Campbell said had a fine outing in both games. Last week he said Bailey Augustine came to play. He just didn't feel like the rest of his team did as they were leading up to Thanksgiving. Lucas trying to drive it and lost it off her fingertips. She was indecisive about whether to go with the left or the right hand and lost control of it. So to toss it in is going to be Lindsay Payton. And Lucas will come out, and checking in for Union is Shiley Morrison, the freshman from Gravette, Arkansas. This is one of these games that, well, we hadn't had any scoring in the last 2 minutes after it looked like it was just going to be an explosion and that Union could do pretty much what it wanted to with the ball, leaving wide open in the corner, and the three is there. Just absolutely no defense on Alicia Homer. And she will burn you from the corners if you give her the opportunity. The only player in double figures for Brescia. And on the backside is Augustine. And they go inside, and not able to navigate the layup is Anna McCready. She had the step on her defender, but just couldn't get it far enough over on the glass. As we get closer to the 3-minute mark in this first quarter. Nowhere to go in the baseline. The fake and the bank shot is there. You take anything that you can be given, and Riley Collins did just that. And this place gets eerily quiet again all the way down. Nobody challenging the left-hand layup for Bailey Augustine. And let's see, checking in for Union is Emily Dunnigan once again, and coming out is Leah Cauble. So going for the three-point play will be Augustine from Black Rock, Arkansas, the 5'11 freshman. There is so much promise for this young lady. Checking in for Brescia is Ella Green, a 5'4 freshman from Linville, Indiana. I want to say a big shout-out, as I do every game, to all the parents from both of these two schools, because I know a lot of you can't make these trips to see your daughters in person. And we're just thrilled that we can come your way with this via streaming for those of you watching out of town. And I hope that it is a very pleasant Christmas season for all of you, wherever you happen to be watching tonight. Here we go, Samaria Thompson. And she's being guarded very closely by Ella Green. As we get to the 2:23 mark, and checking in now for Brescia again is Courtney Payton. As we mentioned, the Payton sisters are from Madisonville, Kentucky. They went to Madisonville Northside High School. Thompson almost lost control. Here they go. That's a turnaround and overshooting that layup. Oh, Augustine had a clear ticket to it and somehow just put too much of an angle on it. And they're going to go to a scrum down at the bottom, and Union with the steal, and Augustine finally gets it away, and Union's going to have numbers. And trying to take it all the way in. The high bank is not there, and Union squandered an opportunity. So here comes Brescia back on the attack. This team became the darling of a lot of the local fans back in the NAIA tournament in the late 90s and the early 00s when Marty Rowe was the head coach there. And one year went all the way down to the Final Four and took Southern Nazarene, the eventual national champion, down to the final minute. And I got to tell you, because the Oklahoma schools were not favorites here at Jackson, Tennessee, they adopted Brescia to their hearts. And it has been, this is where we got to meet and get to know Marty Rowe. We got triple substitutions coming back in for the Lady Bulldogs. But we had a marvelous time with Marty and all of the people associated with that program. Now Coach Gray is doing everything he can to revive the fortunes of it. Courtney Payton once again trying to get her second of two and nails it. It's a 17-10 game. And here goes Sadie Nee, who you know from last year, she has a great three-point shot, and she just hands it off on the outside to Emily Dunnigan, who can just nail you. And it's a 20-10 lead for the Lady Bulldogs. I would be giving you individual stats, but our computer feed is not operating right now. And let's see how they play it around the perimeter. And steals. Baker has such quick hands and gets it all the way down for the left-hand layup. And Keely Robinson with her basket. You're going to see a lot of people scoring in this one tonight. 22-10. Lady Bulldogs back on a 5-0 run. Less than a minute in the first quarter. Homer's trying to get open over on that left-hand corner. But Baker is lurking over there in her presence. Almost stolen away. Nice pivot. And just absolutely robbed was Elizabeth Jones. Union going to play it for the final one with 8 to go. And they're trailing Sadie Nee. You got to do something with it. Down to 3 and 2. And Baker's got to let it go. No, short. A little bit disorganized in that final 12-second offensive set. So Lady Bulldogs lead 22-10 at the end of the first quarter. Earlier we talked to Mark Campbell about putting together a non-conference schedule, and he told us some of the things that was important about making his team uncomfortable, but he says there are other things that are important, and here's what he told us.
Because my ultimate goal at the end of the year is that they would enjoy each other, we would feel together, and that I don't have any regrets in what we teach them and how we prepare them. And so if the season ended today, I'd have regrets. And so our schedule as we went this year, we had the people we signed last year. I knew who I had coming back. And I felt like we had a team that could play late in March, ability-wise and character-wise. And so in order to figure out how to get the most out of them, let's play the most difficult schedule, in my opinion, that I've ever done preseason, especially with a group of 7 new ones coming in. And we're asking a lot of those players to play this year, of those 7. So
Lady Bulldog cheerleaders entertaining with Word Up, that song with the most improbable name, and I have to be able to tell you, I wish I knew what the lyrics to that song was, or were, shall I say. Lady Bulldogs a comfortable 22-10 lead in the first quarter. And I got to tell you, they have got to have their A game coming starting Thursday night as they take on Lee, because it is going to be a challenge. Anytime Marty Rowe brings a team in here, it will be difficult. Bearcats will play it here to start the second period. And the key for a team like this that has been clearly outmanned in a lot of its games up to this point in the season is just not to get rattled and just continue to play your offense. No call there in the paint. And the three is off the mark for Homer, and the rebound to Robinson. Now, Keeley can dribble that ball down the floor very well and that's not going to be anywhere near the defender. And she was expecting a cut one way, and nobody was home, and so Union coughs it up. And to toss it in is going to be Courtney Payton. She goes 5'11", as does her twin sister Lindsay. You can see some of the things that Coach Gray is trying to build on the inside, and then having strong wing guards. And the long three, not there for Dunnigan. Trying to slow the tempo down. It's really probably the only effective way that Brescia can stay in the game is if they play a slow tempo game. That one goes nowhere. And knee, that's one of those you better be there bounce passes, and Ashton Baker indeed was there, and Coach Gray's going to call timeout. So with the score 24-10, Union on top. Another of the things that we talked to Mark Campbell about is transfer athletes, and particularly the transfer portal that has been so much more important to schools across the nation. And we asked him how it is at the Division II basketball level.
We've got to find people that fit at Union. And it's going to be tough to find people in the transfer portal that we know much about. So really there has to be some string of connection, whether it's because they know me or my assistant coaches or know one of my players or from the area, or just looking for a Christian school to go play. There has to be some line of connection that would make them want to come to Jackson, Tennessee. 100,000 people. Smaller town, no traffic. They're just in a Christian school. I mean, there's going to be a certain fit that's going to be, hey, that's a place I would like to be.
Mike Mann and his orchestra giving a bit of YMCA to the place. As we mentioned, it's not a heavy turnout tonight. A single game here in late November on the final week before the students have to be ready for finals. And, you know, they just have professors who don't think very well of them sometimes because they push them to get another paper or to have another presentation, and that's before the finals. And so a lot of these students have been studying during Thanksgiving break just to try to stay on top of everything. So you don't see a lot of them here tonight in the arena. Steve Beverly with all the action from Fred DeLay Gymnasium on David Blackstock Court. 13 on the shot clock for the Bearcats. They try to go inside, and Lucas just raised. She's got a high reach and tried to save it underneath. Instead, it's Baker for the three, and it just goes a bit right. Ashton has a tremendous three-point shot, but nothing there that time. Her range has been tremendous. And let's see how they play it here with 14 again on the shot clock. This started out like a house of fire. Union as the steal is taken. And underneath, There you go with Shanique Lucas to make it a 26-10 game. Union had 14 points in the first 4.5 minutes of this game, and it looked like it was just going to be nothing but explosion. And the tempo has been slowed down a bit by Brescia, and Union has had some lack of success from outside the arc since that time. But still, an easy 16-point margin, nowhere to go, and a steal. There was just nowhere, and they're going to lose it right back. That was a case of Dillard just simply lost concentration on it. Now which way are they going to go? So it's going to go as multiple substitutions come in for both teams. And Brescia is going to play it with Courtney Payton to toss it in. There are times it becomes just eerily quiet when you're waiting on an adjustment from the score clock. That's what we had here. I don't mean to make the analogy, it's like a morgue, but it almost was at that point. Just no success on the inside. They've got Aja Estes, who's in there now, and she is a 6'1 freshman. She's really the tallest player they have to go against. Jalencia Williams. All right, they've used up half the possession, 15 on the shot clock. And again, they can't get anybody open on the inside, and let's see what happens here. It is Lucas. And she couldn't get it all the way home, but she fired it on the inside to Augustine. And the easy layup. That is what Shanique Lucas brings to the table. If she lost control of it trying to go all the way, that was one of the few times they were trying to get underneath, as Homer was trying to get an underneath layup against Williams, and that one didn't work. And so you have a jump ball, and the alternate possession goes back to the Lady Bulldogs up 18. And we have the official Union logo curling mop that comes out to clean up the moisture. Baker takes her time with it. Lucas just does so many things well with the ball. That one, she was trying to heave it over to Dunnigan for a possible three. Couldn't get it up high enough. She was floating too far right to get an intensity on that one. Ashton Baker will toss it in. We had a fun time visiting with her last week on our last telecast against Central Missouri. She was really a delightful interview. Inside they go, and drawing the foul is Augustine. She'll go to the line for two. Bailey can play 2 or 3 different positions, including post, and she does that very well. 6:09 remaining with Union on top by 18, and Ashton Baker's coming over to talk to Mark Campbell. And right through the heart for Augustine. Once again, our computer statistics have failed us here, so hopefully we'll be able to make an adjustment on that at halftime and get you up to date. It's a 30-10 game as Union's on top by 20. And you figured that it was going to be somewhere in this direction. The key thing for the Brescia team is to learn from a contest like this, and because you're going to be playing tough teams in your own individual conference, and this is one that just toughens you up. High push shot for the three. It's just short by Ella White. And Union has numbers again. From the corner, it's Lucas. Yes! Shanique nails it. Union by 23. And we've still got more than a half of this 10-minute period to go. Here you go with Homer once again. You got more of the starters back into the game. Riley Collins, she can fire one from outside, and that one just went nowhere, and it's a steal. Baker to Lucas, and the layup. Ashton just dishes it off beautifully to Lucas, and it is for Union now a 9-point run at 35-10. And again, trying to slow the tempo down is Homer. And again, that kicked off the knee of Augustine. They got to hurry down to 6 on the shot clock. Homer with a left-hand push is not there. Williams goes to the deck, and the foul. That is one of the few fouls of the evening. It's only the third one of the entire game against Union. And so going to the free throw line is Jocelyn Cox, 5'9" freshman from Farmerburg, Indiana. Went to North Central High School. And again, checking in, subs all the way across the board. Hannah Sikora is in the game for Brescia. She is a 5'6" junior from Colfax, Wisconsin, and a transfer from Iowa Wesleyan. And trying to stop this 9-point run on the part of the Lady Bulldogs, and both of them just simply, it's like you had a lid on that bucket. Lady Bulldogs working the perimeter again. Now look for Williams to try to curl back into the inside. She's double teamed and gets the foul. I had every idea that she was going to go left and then back right and either try to get the layup or deposit it in for a foul opportunity. Last season, Jalencia struggled at the free throw line in the first half of the season. Then after Christmas, she had a tremendous improvement. Right through the heart. And Lady Bulldogs now with a 10-0 run as we are approaching the 4-minute mark. We've only been playing this game for 27 minutes. And the lack of free throws and the lack of fouls has been a huge factor in how this game is just sped along. We might be done with this one by 7 o'clock if this continues. Again, working the perimeter again. On the outside. Nice little jumper. That's inside the paint for Ella White, and that ends Union's 10-0 run. Now again, Lady Bulldogs will be looking for a cutter underneath unless they can get a screen for a three. Instead, they tried to go high inside, and that one was just a little bit too high on the pass for Shiley Morrison, trying to get it inside. That's a bread and butter Mark Campbell play, though, for all of the post players that he has had over his 23 years as Union's head coach. It's the kind of play that he did in college at Lipscomb when he was the running mate, if you will, of John Pierce, an All-American if ever there was one, and Mark is the point guard, just lobbed it inside, and John Pierce had the softest layup I think I've ever seen. Just a tremendous combination. They were almost unstoppable. And so Mark brought that same kind of offense when he took over as head coach of the Lady Bulldogs in 1999-2000. And I'm going to tell you, that time has flown so fast. And those 6 national championships that Union has, 5 of them belong to Mark. 4 of them is NAIA national champion, and 1 is the National Christian College Athletic Association champion. In the corner for the three. Nope. Iron was unkind for Caldwell. The scoring pace slows down once again. And let's see how they play it. Again, there have been a few people who made it here for the game, and underneath, that one drops through. A few people made it here from Brescia tonight. It's a long trip from Owensboro, and that one was just short on the three, and trying to scramble for that. Thompson comes up with the offensive board, wide open underneath. The left-hand layup is there for Jalencia Williams, who's just been open all night long. And this is the kind of game where she needs to be able to dominate as much as possible and get herself ready for this conference race that does start on Thursday night. Again, playing well outside the perimeter because Williams just has, and look at that, tapped on the inside. Augustine, they were double teaming, and there you go. Give and go. Layup is there for Leah Caldwell. Leah with 5, and it's a 40-14 Union lead, and we're under 2 minutes to go in the first half. We'll be visiting with Shanique Lucas as our featured player of the game at halftime. I think you're going to really enjoy her story and her journey here. Knocked away by Williams, who didn't even have to leave the ground. And Augustine checks out, and coming in again is Keely Robinson. They got 13 on the shot clock. Again, they've had to keep this largely about 20 feet out in the perimeter. Trying to open a three. No, boy, she had the range, but it was just short for Hannah. And that one was kicked away. Nice defense from behind by Elizabeth Jones. And the foul. That foul is charged to Keely Robinson, so the Bearcats will play it underneath. We just have not had many trips to the free throw line, so this game has just whiz-banged along. We're going to probably play this first half in 35 minutes. And again, around the perimeter, and Union playing a very stout man-to-man defense. And from the back of the key, it's there. Nice one for Lindsay Payton. We're under a minute in this first half of play. And again, Union running its patterned offense, trying to get it to Williams, and she just knifes it home. She doesn't have to worry about putting the toothpaste back in the tube. It just stays there, and then it escapes whenever she goes for those layups. And again, trying to work the perimeter. And snapped away. That was perfect timing on the steal. Payton was trying to drop one home, and Union's got to hurry again, under 10 seconds. Somebody's going to have to throw, and they go inside and trying to get that one inside for the layup. And smart move by Jalencia Williams. She was fouled by Elizabeth Jones, and so that's one of the things, again, that Jalencia brings to the table is that she knew, and it was about 2 seconds left when the foul was called, she knew she had that. The problem is she's got to capitalize off the free throw line. You get in a tough game late, and if another team is looking for somebody to foul, unfortunately, it might be Jalencia. But she has the second one to roll off, and halftime is here. Lady Bulldogs with a comfortable 42-16 halftime edge. And we'll be bringing you stats after we have our feature player of the game, and that is Shanique Lucas. As I mentioned, she's not just from Papua New Guinea. You look and you find out, as I interviewed her yesterday, you'll find out that she has a marvelous story and a marvelous journey. So let's visit with Shanique Lucas.
Well, Shanique Lucas is with us now, and it's really fun, Shanique, to be able to visit with the Lady Bulldogs up close and personal, because we haven't had a chance to do this a lot in previous years. But first off, I've done a little research on your country in Papua New Guinea, and tell me what it was like growing up there.
Okay, so I only lived there till I was about 6 years old, so I don't remember a whole bunch, but I loved it. I mean, I was just living my kid life, going to school, messing around. I know we had a hill by our house, and we would always mess around on that, doing things we weren't supposed to do. My family always liked going trekking, like in the jungle bush kind of areas. And we loved going to the beach. Yeah, just lived my kid life there, so it was good.
So when you turned 6,
yes,
then where did life take you? Where did you go?
So after I turned 6, we moved to China, where we lived in Shanghai for 4 years. And that was cool. It was different. We lived in the city, so just more of city life. And I was still living my kid life until I was about 10. So, yeah.
And then from there, where did you go?
Yes, and then from there we moved to Thailand, and I lived there between the ages of like 10 and 18 when I graduated from high school. And we lived in a couple different cities when we lived in Thailand, or well, my family still lives there, but when I lived there. And that was more just like city kind of life, a little bit on the outskirts of the capital for a little bit, but for the most part, it's just city life. So, yeah.
We have had many international players since about 1997 when Rose Anoon was the first one to join the Lady Bulldogs. But I have to ask you are probably, considering the number of places you've lived, you're probably the most international player that we've ever had, just from the different parts of the world that you've been. So let's fast forward and tell us what led you to come to Union University. How did that happen?
Okay, so it's actually a pretty cool story. After my freshman year of high school, I knew that I was going to be going to Minnesota to play AU basketball. And before leaving Thailand, I spent a good amount of time just emailing a bunch of different coaches, like some highlight videos and just like some academic information on myself and background information on myself, just trying to get like on their radar before I went to Minnesota. And obviously one of the schools I contacted was Union University. And I think initially I contacted both Coach Campbell and Coach Sarah, who was here with us last year. And Coach Sarah fortunately opened up my email and then shared my information and my videos with Coach Campbell. And then ever since then, he pretty much kept in contact with me and then offered me. So, yeah.
I sure am glad that Sarah Hammond opened that email. Because you have been a fantastic part of these Lady Bulldogs during the time you've been here. In making the adjustment to playing in America, but particularly in West Tennessee compared to where you'd live, what kind of a culture shock or an adjustment was that?
Yeah, I think being in the South was a little bit of an adjustment. Because obviously the South is very different. I had spent, like I said, I went to Minnesota, so I kind of was familiar with the Midwest because I spent, I think, 2 summers there. So, yeah, the South was a little bit different. It wasn't too terrible, though. I think definitely, like you said, with my international background, having moved around to different places, I was kind of used to adjusting to new cultures and new atmospheres. And so it wasn't too bad, I'd say, moving to Jackson. And I think definitely, too, like the team and the coaching staff and the school as a whole made the transition really easy for me. So,
as someone who has just retired from being a Union professor after nearly 29 years, I'm very, very attuned to the fact that there is a welcoming spirit for people who come here from other countries, and especially our athletes. It's huge, and I know that had to mean a lot because, it's like Coach Campbell says, if you give us a chance, we'll love you. And that, I think, is unquestionably so. Tell us how basketball first became a part of your life, because the percentages of young women who have a chance to play at this level are not high. So tell us how you actually got started as a child playing basketball, and what led you to build up to this level where you could play competitively at the college level.
Yeah, so I think actually the first sport, so when we moved to China, the first sport I played was soccer in the fall. And my dad just had us playing, me and my sister, Kishana, who's here as well at Union, just started her freshman year. He had always been a big fan of sports in general and wanted us to just be active as kids. So we started with soccer, and then we joined just a basketball league just for fun because we were just like, why not? I was like 7 at the time. So I just started playing, and I turned out I was like pretty good, I guess, like at a young age. I don't know. It kind of came naturally, I guess. And then from there, I joined like a boys team. So I was one of those girls that like grew up playing with boys, and competing against boys. So that definitely helped me and pushed me to want to be better, to want to beat the boys and that kind of thing. And then when we moved to Thailand, we joined a basketball academy kind of thing. So like after school, we'd go and we'd just train. And we had like weekend leagues and that kind of thing. And again, playing against boys, playing against older girls. I don't know. I just really loved it. And yeah, just haven't stopped since, I guess.
That brings to mind that it's probably no adjustment at all when Coach Campbell brings some of these big guys in to practice against.
Yeah, I mean, they're a lot bigger and faster for sure. But.
Yeah, Coach told me one day recently. He said he brought guys in for a couple of practices. He said we had some bad practices on those days. Tell me in particular, because you've been part of a program here that has been a symbol of excellence for more than 40 years. In fact, almost since the program began in the 1970s. But tell us, if you will, just what it's been like to be part of a program that has had so much success and has enjoyed that.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, it's an honor, first of all, to have been offered and like to be playing for Coach Campbell with all of his success with Union basketball and also like USA basketball. But outside of that too, just to be a part of a program that really cares about you as an individual is such a blessing, and I'm really thankful to be a part of it. Yeah, it's a really humbling experience too, I'd say, just because, you know, even though our program is so good and has been so good for years, just the idea though that just because those things are true, we can't coast when it comes to like a new season, that kind of thing. So that's been a humbling experience. And yeah, again, just touching on like Coach Campbell and having him as my coach has just been awesome. So yeah, that's probably like the biggest, like my biggest takeaway for sure from the whole experience, I'd say.
Nick, what is your favorite part of the game?
My favorite part?
I'm hitting you with one that you hadn't been asked very often.
Like, I don't know. I probably the team aspect for sure. I think this is my third year. And even in the short, 2.5 years that I've been at Union, I've just developed a lot of really good friendships with teammates, which I think is different than developing friendships with teammates in high school versus college. I think there's definitely a difference there. So yeah, I think that's definitely my biggest takeaway. And it's just really cool how Coach Campbell has recruited the team in such a way that's blessed me with these lifelong friends that I know I'm going to have. So I'd say that's my favorite aspect of it.
Your sister, Kishana, is redshirting this year, and she'll be a part actively of the Lady Bulldog team next year, although she's right there on the bench every game. But what's it been like having your sister here?
Oh, it's so nice. It's awesome. I love it. We're roommates, so like her room is right next door. But yeah, it's awesome. Just the past 2 years, having not been with my family, have obviously been hard. And after my freshman year, I couldn't go home because of COVID, so I was here. So again, like that 2 years without my family was hard. But now that my sister is here and I get to see her every day, and be with her every day, it's awesome. Like I really couldn't ask for anything better. So
let me ask you, as far as just wrapping this up, and we're also going to be talking to Shanique during a second half of tonight's game, just so you can get some more insights from her. But Shanique, in just looking at what your Union experience is like, I always like to ask every player this. What has that been like for you to be a part of Union University in general?
It's been great. Like I said, my transition here was made a lot easier because of how welcoming the students are, the faculty. So, really no complaints there. But I think definitely my biggest takeaway has been growing spiritually at Union University, just the different opportunities to do that. And I think obviously basketball is a huge part, but to touch on that spiritual aspect, basketball has also helped develop that aspect of my life with Coach Campbell, just stewarding all of us in that area of our life. So, yeah, I think that is definitely my biggest takeaway for sure.
Well, as I mentioned, we're going to be talking to Shanique during the second half when we have timeouts. We're going to get a few more insights from her. But Shanique, thank you for being with us here, being our featured player here at halftime, and wish you got a lot of good luck for the rest of the season in the second half tonight.
Thank you, sir.
And let's go down to the floor now for a look at our halftime statistics.
And let's take a look at those halftime statistics brought to you by Worthy Road Studios. For the finest in video and event production in West Tennessee, it is Worthy Road Studios. Here are your totals. And Union dominating 59% from the floor, and it was 17 of 29 in the first half. 32% for Brescia at 7 of 22. And then Union shooting its usual lights out from behind the arc at 50%. It's been a tough night, only 1 out of 8 for Brescia. Now, for both teams, free throws have not been exactly what you would call a clinic tonight. Union 4 out of 9, 44%. And Brescia 1 out of 4 for 25%. We'll see if that happens. There have been so few fouls called in this game. In fact, looking at our totals right now, only 12 personal fouls were called in the first half. Brescia has given it up 14 times to Union's 5, but look at this total. Union has a 26-point lead, and 20 of the points of the 42 Union has have come off of Brescia mistakes. So that's a huge figure in a big, big margin, 20-5 there. And so that's the way it looks in the total stats. When it comes to scoring here in the first half, and I'll run these down for you very, very quickly. For Union, it's Jalencia Williams because she just dominated. She was 5 for 6 from the floor. A rough night, 1 out of 6 from the free throw line, but 11 points and 3 rebounds. And Shanique Lucas and Bailey Augustine each with 7 for the Lady Bulldogs, 6 for Emily Beard-Dunnigan. Over for Brescia, it's been evenly distributed with their scoring. It has been a tough night altogether for them collectively. Lindsay Payton is the leading scorer with 4, and you've had 1 3-pointer from Alicia Homer, and they are really the leaders. Everybody else that has scored, you got 4 ladies who have picked up 2, and then you have 1. And look at here. Here we go. There is just Delaney Susane. She's the lady in the black there. And then you've got somebody who belongs to Stephen Aldridge behind there. And I have to say, I don't know for sure who the young lady on the right is, but they're the ones who keep every... Now, look at Delaney Sue. She's supposed to be selling this stuff, and look at her chomp away on this. She is absolutely gobbling that pizza right there. Now, this young lady plays golf at Union University. She's a graduate student. But now watch her again. Here she goes. She's supposed to be selling this stuff. She is gobbling this stuff as if she didn't have Thanksgiving dinner. Can you believe that? I'm going to have to talk to Delaney Sue after this. She was also Miss Union last year. She is one of the most delightful and kind-hearted young ladies you will ever be around. She is a terrific golfer. Her father taught her the game, but also she's a young lady who started a very special Bible study for young women on the Union campus. There you go. That's the official Union University Hyper Dry Mop. Now, if you'd like to have one of those for Christmas, send your coins. I don't think we can do that. I'll have to talk to Stephen Aldridge to find out if we're going to be able to sell those mops. That would be an interesting thing to have in your garage or in your kitchen to be able to clean up the mess. We'd do commercials for that one as well. But Delaney Susane, just I can't say enough about her. She was my student the last 2 years I was here before I retired last spring. And just she's and there you go. Here comes some more of the fans here. These are folks who have been here for I cannot tell you how many years that they've been supporters of the Union program. But one more thing on Delaney Sue. She is the kind of young woman that makes everyone better around her, even if she's chomping away on pizza. I'm sure I'll hear about that after the game tonight. And Mike Mann and his orchestra striking up as we're about a half a minute away from starting this final 20 minutes of action. As I mentioned, we have flown through the first 2 quarters and halftime in just 50 minutes. So if we go through it at this kind of speed, we're going to be out of here by 7 o'clock tonight. Everybody can go home and have an earlier bite to eat. I appreciate all the fans who have made it out tonight and who have been here to support the Lady Bulldogs in a game that is not a conference game, but certainly is one that you got to look at any of them as an important tune-up for the conference race that starts for real this coming Thursday night, and it will be with Lee, which happens to be, in one of the polls, the number 8 team in America in Division II women's basketball. And I got news for you. Marty Rowe will have his team ready. And that is an understatement right there. He's one of my good friends, one of my finest friends in coaching, along with Mark Campbell and the many that we got to know during the NAIA years. I can't tell you enough about what I think of Marty. So here we go. It is Brescia. And trying to find a way to unlock the door to perhaps get some more baskets to the inside. They tried to go inside, and the foul is going to be on Williams. That's how you have to do it. You have to aggressively take it on the inside, and Lindsey Payton, that wasn't, shall we say, the most orthodox way to do it, but she's going to have a couple of free throws out of it. What you do, if you're going up against somebody like Jalencia Williams, you can't have fear to go in and try to put it up. In and out. What a tough night this has been for both teams from the free throw line. That's one of those that you just want to write off. She got the second one. And so, first blood in the second half goes to Brescia. Baker, there's the flash. Yes, she is. I've decided that's her name because she just absolutely is a flash down the floor, and the flash makes it 44-17. Ashton with 6. And again, they're working back around the perimeter. And Jalencia Williams is going almost to the wing. And let's see what the call is. And it looks... And that is the third foul on Shanique Lucas. She's the only player. I didn't even know that they had that many fouls. She's got half the Union fouls of 6 in the game. Mark's not going to probably make any attempt to bring her out. That one goes off the back of the iron and off the head of Jalencia Williams. You take them any way that you can get them, and Riley Collins got the layup off the head fake. And Baker all the way down the flash is going to the line for a couple. That's what I'm talking about, is that, okay, they gave up the basket down at the other end, and then she's flying all the way down at the opposite end. And we saw in the very first exhibition game that Union played against UT Southern how quick she was down the floor. And we've got timeout on the floor, and so with Union comfortably ahead, we had an opportunity again to talk to Shanique Lucas about her life and her career here. And one of the things we asked her about was her major and her goals after she leaves Union.
So my major is exercise science, and I actually picked up a minor in intercultural studies as well. What I'm hoping to do with both of those is hopefully to do physical therapy. Not entirely sure where, like what country, what part of the world I want to do that in, but I do want to stay connected with athletes and hopefully college athletes or professional athletes if possible.
As she told you in the first half, there she is coming back onto the floor. As Shanique told you in the first half, she's listed in the program as being from Papua New Guinea, but her family left there when she was 6 years old, and so she has lived in China and Thailand, and her family, that is their home now in Thailand. And her sister, Kay, is here, and she is redshirting this year, and she's going to continue the family pipeline of Lucases who are playing for the Lady Bulldogs. And this young lady, we are very, very glad that she made her way down as a graduate transfer from Liberty University, where she had a 4-year career, and Ashton Baker. Now I think they're ready. And so Ashton going to the line for a couple. Now, she's one that can get you back into precision when it comes to the free throw line. That has not been exactly a premium moment for either team tonight. She hits them both. So Ashton has picked up the first 4 points for the Lady Bulldogs in this second half, up 46-19. Picking up the tempo a little bit is Brescia. Had a rough outing Saturday against Freed Hardeman. And again, they're staying back behind the perimeter now because Union is just giving just no ticket to the inside. There you go. The steal comes off that time to Dillard. And she may take it all the way. Instead, the jumper. Right there. There's the lady with the hot hand right now. The Flash has picked it up, and she's got 10 points in the game now. She's the second one in double figures for Union. I told Ashton that we had occasional nicknames that came for the players and that I'd probably figure out one for her before the season. And we've done it before the conference game started. That's a nice one. The kick outside, and the three is there. Another beautiful assist by Lucas, and Emily Dunnigan with 9. She has had a fine night tonight, taking it all the way. The left-hand layup is off the back of the iron, and it is going to go back to Brescia. That's interesting as these much smaller players huddle around Jalencia Williams. They got to hurry to get it in. And tipped away by Baker. Ashton is all over the place. She does a lot of things without the basketball, and particularly on defense. She is lightning fast. And checking back in for Brescia is Estes. And let's see what Homer tries to do with it. Again, trying to go to the inside, and that foul is going to be charged to Dunnigan. She fired it on the inside, trying to connect up with Joins, and again, that's one way you just have to try to get the fouls any way you can and hope that you can get yourself in a bonus situation. Union's already committed 3 early in this third quarter. Now, Joins had nowhere to go against Lucas. Almost knocked away and short. That was just a case of Williams being totally in the way. Here goes the Flash. Down the stretch she goes. That hesitation, stutter step, and then just faking them and driving it all the way down the lane. 53-19. And the lob to the inside, and it goes off the bottom of the glass, but it's going to go back to Brescia. One off the hands of Emily Dunnigan. And checking in, Lucas is going to come out, and checking in for Union is Shiley Morrison. And again, open for a little jumper, and there. You just got to get them up high, and Estes connects. In the corner. That three is right through the heart, so Morrison comes in and gets her first 3. She's the 8th Lady Bulldog to score in the contest. 56-21. Union was on top at the end of the first quarter, 22-10. It was 42-16 at halftime. And again, that one's going to have to be saved by Collins. They're down to 8 on the shot clock. Somebody's going to have to get open or go down the line. And that one, she was very fortunate that one didn't go out of bounds. The jumper right there at the horn, and Collins connects. She has 8. And Dunnigan open. Oh, that's the second one of the season. That's what you call the glue shot. It only took 2 bumps to get that one off. That's what you call the glue shot. It's almost like, if you will, it is, hey, he's back. He's back. I got to tell this, our curling cleaner there is back. We just had him on there. He has returned. All right, Ashton Baker has it. That is almost like Velcro. Reminds me of one of those old stunts that David Letterman used to do where he just loaded himself with Velcro and was lobbied against the wall and stuck. The way those things go. Now, this is a typical Mark Campbell play from the inbounds, and yes, Williams with 13. That's one of those, you lob it all the way back to the top of the key and either try to bring it up yourself or go to your post player, and that was executed perfectly. And again, trying the bounce pass underneath, and that one is, as we say, it is very, very hazardous attempting bounce passes against this kind of defense. Checking in for Union is Anna McCready. And Jalencia will take a break, leading with 13 points in the game. And that one was tipped out, and so Brescia is going to play it once again. And let's see how Homer manages to navigate it. And Ashton Baker checks out. Mark's played everybody on his bench. And I think Coach Gray has done the same thing. There's your steal. Here comes Thompson. Let's see if she can go all the way. Yep. She just went right through her defender, and Thompson connects with a coast-to-coast layup, her first basket, and Union with 9 players scoring in the game. Again, tough man-to-man defense from Union has just been almost unstoppable tonight. And on the inside, that one was almost stolen by Thompson again, and Union's going to grab it. Here they go. They got numbers. It's going to be a 2-on-2. And trying to take it all the way. The curl layup is there. Beautifully navigated by Morrison. She has 5, and Union up 62-23. And we still have a little more than 4 minutes to go in this third quarter. Union has been dominant since the get-go. Got out to an early 14-4 lead. And has just stretched it out ever since. Down to 4 on the shot clock. Big bomb 3 is not there, and the rebound comes off to Thompson, who's been all over the boards. McCready wanted it underneath, and she's going to have a chance, and tipped away. Probably if Anna had not taken it, that was Augustine, pardon me, if Bailey had not taken it to the floor, she probably would have had it because the defenders were completely fake. Now we got a timeout call with 4:10 remaining in the third quarter as Union leads at 62-23. And again, our featured player of the game tonight is Shanique Lucas, and we ask her, particularly being an international student, what is the influence of her family on her career and her life?
So my family is pretty small, but we're very, very tight-knit. So aside from Kishana, we have a younger sister, and she's awesome. She's just a little ball of energy, so I absolutely love her. The past years, having not been home with her has been hard. Just being here playing basketball has been hard, not seeing her grow up. But when I went home this summer, it was great to just catch up with her and just spend a whole bunch of time with her. My dad, he's awesome. He's been my rock, my hero ever since I was young. And he, in terms of like family life and that kind of thing, growing up when I was back home at high school and that kind of thing, he just pushed me and Kishana really hard in school and sports and all areas of life.
Ba, ba, ba. Good times never seem so good. So good, so good, so good. Hey. These fans, we don't have enough fans singing along tonight, so I had to lead everybody in it for just a short chorus. Mike should have brought me over there to the mic, and I could have said I sung with a band one time. I guess I could say that anyway. That's a typical, again, same inbounds play. Look how much extension that Bailey Augustine gets it as she goes in for the layup. A lot of that helps also being in the weight room to be able to get that high power and extension off the right arm. And almost nobody home. They had no ticket on the inside, trying to fire it inside, and Union blocks it on the attempt by Joins. And here you go. McCready tries to take it all the way and draws the foul. That's the second time I've done that. That is Bailey Augustine. I was blocked from the 2 on her jersey. It's 25. Anna's 15. So Anna McCready is out of the game right now. No, pardon me. Anna's in the game right now, I think. Yeah, she's there at midcourt. Oh, my goodness. It's been one of those nights. 6 out of 12 from the free throw line. And I know that's one thing Mark will talk about. He said, we got to get better on our free throws. 6 of 13. Woo! They've had some rough nights, but I don't think I've seen this one. You know, and you look at a 41-point lead and say, so what? And there's a big bomb. 3 is outside the corner and nailed by Cox for her first 3 of the game. 64-26. Underneath, taking it all the way is Thompson. So Samaria adds her 2 into the game. And Union now has, so far in the contest, 9 players who have put points on the board. Led by Jalencia Williams with 13 and Ashton Baker with 12. Lady Bulldogs shooting 67% from the floor. And that's going to be a foul. Looks like that's going to be charged to Augustine. No, they charge it to Sadie Nee instead. At the line, it's going to be Alicia Homer. This is her first trip to the line tonight, and she nails it. 3 out of 7 for 43% from the line for Brescia. So as we said, that this is not a night that either team could show this as a highlight tape to young folks and say, this is the way you shoot free throws. It's just been tough for both teams. The jumper inside the paint is not there, and they scramble, and coming down with the rebound is Peyton. And Homer tried to get some speed against Sadie Nee. That's a hard thing to do. And the jumper. A little pull-up jumper is not there, and Union the rebound. Here comes Keely Robinson. And stripped away. Union will play it out of bounds. They were trying to give and go. That time it was Anna McCready. Hope that you and yours, wherever you are, had a wonderful Thanksgiving. We certainly did at our house, and I hope that this Christmas season is devoid of stress in that you have an opportunity to enjoy the most important things of this season ahead. And again, going around the perimeter. 2 minutes remaining, and kicked it to the inside. The left-hand layup was just not there. Wide open opportunity for Anna, and she could not make it fall. The one thing that I appreciate about this Brescia team, and there's a steal. Again, that pass was just off the mark. Here goes Keeley. Kicks it outside to McCready, and nice save on the backside by Brescia. This Brescia team continues to play their offense in a disciplined fashion. And even though they're down in the game right now by 39 points, they do not get away from their game plan. And I know that's something Coach Gray is happy about. And going down on the drive and for 2 shots is going to be Samaria Thompson. I remember a few years back when the Lady Bulldogs went to play before she passed away. It was one of her last years. Lady Bulldogs went to play UT when Pat Summitt was still the coach. And you can imagine it was a pretty significant drubbing at the hands of UT. It was an exhibition game. But I remember in the post-game press conference that Pat Summitt talked about how Union was disciplined the entire game in the way they continued to play their offense regardless of how her defenders rattled her. And that was a, shall we say, a touch foul. And that's charged to Thompson. That's her first in the game, but the 15th foul of the quarter against Union, so they'll go to the line for 2. But Pat talked about how the Union team stayed with their pattern, their discipline, and they ran their offense without getting rattled, even though that they were outmanned, and particularly in a height situation, it was really tough. And that's the same thing that has happened with Brescia here tonight. They're continuing to play their game. And you got to salute a team like this because you got to believe there will be good things to happen in the future with a team that continues playing in a disciplined fashion. Wide open, easy connection underneath. That was just pure court awareness by Shiley Morrison. She saw the opening, slid to her left, and falling backward connected with the layup, and she has a chance to get Union to 70 before this quarter ends. So Morrison is at the line, and give her 8. Only Sadie Nee and Bethany Dillard among the Lady Bulldogs who have played. They're the only two who have not scored. Mark says we've got to go deep if we're going to be able to compete in our conference race. And so he's trying to get everybody as much opportunity to play in this one as he can. Jumper was just way off the mark and trying for the offensive board, not there, and the rebound comes off to Sadie Nee. And quickly, just too much on that one, but Thompson underneath gets her own offensive board and the foul. Charge that one to Collins. That is her third. They've got 5 players with 3 fouls in the game. So at the line for a couple is going to be Samaria Thompson. 5 in the game. She's 1 of 2 from the free throw line. Union still shooting at an incredible 64% clip from the floor and 55% in three-pointers. Tough night from behind the arc for Brescia, 17%, 2 out of 12. That's an area that has to improve for that team to be more competitive in its conference as this season goes along. You've just got to be able to hit from outside, particularly when you don't have an extraordinarily tall player to dominate in the paint. And here's a steal. Sadie's going to slow it up and then fires it up, and it was too hard. With those quick hands, and look at there. Wide open, knowing that McCready was going to be there, and look at it, gets the Lady Bulldogs off the bench. Union at 74. That was just perfect concentration. The long three to end the quarter by Hannah Sikora just goes off the mark, and Union up 74-29 as we get ready to go to the fourth quarter. Well, continuing on our journey tonight with our featured player, Shanique Lucas, we ask her about the things that she likes to do off the court.
When I'm away from the court, I love spending time just with my friends and family, with my teammates. We spend a lot of time in our living room together, just hanging out. I love listening to music, love going places to eat a lot.
What do you enjoy to eat?
Probably my favorite type of food is probably sushi and Asian food. I've lived there for a long time, obviously, so it's grown on me for sure. But yeah, I'd say sushi. Yeah, I like to read, listen to music, watch movies, just chill and hang out. So.
And Mark going through the game plan for the fourth quarter with Lady Bulldogs up by 45 against Brescia. And they've been able to, the one good thing about this game is they have been able to rest everybody, and you've had a lot of fresh players in here during various times of the game and before they get into that conference race against Lee and Shorter this weekend. That is critical to have everybody fresh, and so you've had a lot of folks during the course of this game to get into action. 12 Lady Bulldogs have been on the pine tonight. And once again, Union trying to stay disciplined. And left-hand layup is just too much on it for Keely Robinson, but the follow is there, perfectly navigated home by Augustine, who's now in double figures with 11. Union piled up 32 points in that third quarter, and continuing to shoot 63% from the floor. Almost stolen away. Howell was just about to get it. Sally Howell, who's in for the first time. She's the local girl from Trinity Christian. And, oh, my goodness, there was a little bit too much hesitation on the backside, and it is going to be underneath. The foul is called before the shot went up. Just a little bit too much of a hunch on that attempt by Augustine. She got her own rebound, and Union will continue to play it. Again, that's it. That's the Union inbounds play. Classic. Now, the question is, do they give her the basket? No, offensive foul is charged to Bailey Augustine, so give it to the Bearcats. Lindsey Payton's going to toss it in. I'll tell you what, Augustine took a big spill to the floor. She's okay, but it came down on that elbow pretty hard, and she's getting a little bit of attention over on the bench. Took that one step too many. I haven't done it this season, but that was one of those that our old friend Ernest Tubb would say, I'm walking the floor over you. And for those of you who don't remember Ernest Tubb, that means you're not old. Okay, 8:40 remaining. Howell going to try to take it. Thought she was going to go down the lane with it. Sadie Nee, that left-hand layup that just goes too far, and Jalencia Williams taps it back in. So Jalencia with 15. Now, you may notice you've got Jalencia in here with a lot of the players off the bench. And that is a Mark Campbell strategy in a game like this, is that he will play one of his starters with a number of the bench players because, as he has said many, many times to us over the years in interviews, that at some point in time you're going to get players in foul trouble, and it is going to be one of those situations where they're going to have to play with players that usually are not in there with them. So he's trying to get some cohesion with starters against reserves, and I think it's a great strategy because that has happened many, many times. Getting close to the 8-minute mark, and that three just went way too far. Too many wheeze for breakfast for Homer. And here goes, no, it was just a little bit too much right, and just lifting it right back through the horn. Again, Keely Robinson. Terrific job. She had the range on that, did Howell, but it just went a shade right. But Union is really getting these offensive rebounds. 9-3 is their edge in the game. And turnaround jumper is off the mark for Jacqueline Jackson. Foul is charged this time to Peyton. No, it's to Hallie Fisher, who's in the game now. So Hallie has been called for her first foul. So once again, Jalencia Williams checks out of the game with 16 points as the game leader. And Sadie Nee is going to largely run the point now. And she had an opening, and you just get out of the way when she sees that because it's goodbye time. This is one of those for Brescia. It's easy to say it's a nightmare game, but believe me, you can learn from games like this because it's a game like this that shows you just how good you have to be at that top level of play. And I'm sure that's a big reason why Coach Gray scheduled the game. Oh, just a little bit too much. Just too much on the fly for Keely Robinson. She needs to slow it down and release the ball a little bit later. But again, I am really impressed with this Brescia team. They have made tonight 22 turnovers, but they haven't made silly mistakes in this game. A lot of this has just been because they've been outmanned. And beautiful block by McCready. Perfectly timed. I don't know if they're going to catch up to it. And kicked out of bounds. Woo! There you go. That was a slide into home plate for Keely Robinson. Both ladies are okay. And there he goes. He's going for the curling medal tonight. He almost has it. Back off. We've teased him a lot over the course of the last couple of seasons. From the corner, the three, no! Oh, my goodness, you thought a lid just fell on it for Howell, and that bench would have erupted if that had gone through. Sometimes, and I tell you, that's just tough going for Jackson because she backed right into a jump ball, but it's going to be Brescia's ball on alternate possession. So Homer will come over and try to see if she can get an offensive weapon going. Union on top, 83-29. And from the corner, Homer was open for a moment, and she hit we could see that happening. Her foot went, shall we say, perpendicular and touched the end line, and so that was an unfortunate thing because she was driving hard on Howell. And the three. No. Iron unkind. Rebound came off to Joins. And they're going to slow the tempo down just a bit. Union has outscored them 9-0 in this quarter. And from the corner, the three. It had a nice range and a nice motion on it for Jackson, but just not there. Here goes Howell. And she went into a brick wall against Joins. She backed out of that. And the foul. She was not going to be denied drawing the foul, and that one is charged to Estes. Checking back in for Union is Thompson, and coming out is Morrison. It's been a thoroughly dominant performance as the 11 different Lady Bulldogs have scored tonight. Howell is really fighting for that, the young lady from Trinity Christian Academy. Open for the three, and that one had too much arc on it. Leah that was one of those that it's almost like she had glue on her fingers and it just slipped off rather than firmly shot off. And we've got a media timeout. So we're going to have one more visit with Shanique Lucas, and we asked her, just like we did Mark Campbell earlier, what it means for her and her teammates to play such a tough schedule here in the early going of the season.
Oh, yeah, our tough schedule is going to help us tremendously for sure. We've been exposed in a lot of ways, and Coach Campbell always talks about how now that we're exposed and aware of the areas we need to fix, we can now really tackle them because we've just been playing these hard schedules. A lot of teams, I guess unfortunately for them, have not been exposed in the way that we have. So definitely, and I'm sure Coach Campbell has touched on it in other interviews, that our difficult preseason schedule is definitely going to help us tremendously, especially later down in the season. You know, we're exposed and put in hard situations that we're most likely going to be put in later in the season. And now that we have that experience, we're only going to get better and be able to learn from them.
You can see why everybody loves that young lady. She is just such a delightful person, and it's amazing what her journey has been, living all over the world as she has, and then being here in West Tennessee. What a change in the culture. I'm sure that it was, as she told us in her halftime interview. But Shanique Lucas has been such a wonderful part of this Lady Bulldog team, and now having her sister here, who is redshirting this year, she will be playing next season. And frankly, as Mark Campbell told us earlier, it was all Kashana's idea to do that. Lady Bulldogs again just staying with their discipline on the inside, tipped away by Joins. So Union to play it underneath with 19 remaining on the shot clock. Lady Bulldogs shooting percentage has dipped down to about 57%, but it's been in the 60s most of the game. There's your typical play. And underneath, the high layup is there, and her teammates resoundingly applaud for, and almost everybody has scored. Howell connects. It's Dillard's the only one who has not scored in the game. Almost stolen by Robinson. The three just goes off the mark. This has been an incredibly tough quarter for for Brescia. And they go to the corner, open for the three. Nope, they said her foot was back. That was a frustrating situation, I know, for Leah Coble. The official was right on top of it, and her foot was in the black portion over there, and so she was out of bounds before she let that one go. A few of those folks you see in the stands are parents of the young ladies who are playing tonight. And as I say, we had a few of the folks from Brescia who made the trip. A reminder that we will be bringing you the first two games in the conference race this weekend on Thursday and Saturday, and I'll talk more about that in our post-game wrap-up. And the foul is going to be charged to Leah Coble. That's Leah's second. Union's only committed 2 fouls in this quarter, but Brescia still has not put a point on the board. And open for there you go. They finally nailed one in. Jackson connects on it. She has 4. An 85-31 contest. Thompson open, takes it, hits it. That was a nice little 20-footer for Samaria. And she's had her contribution in this game tonight with 9. So she may be able to strike double figures before we're over. Getting close to the 3-minute mark. That one just completely out of the range, trying to get it on the inside to Joins. And I want to thank again Shanique Lucas for her time and for visiting with us and giving you, as we're trying to do all season long with the women and men, to give you a more personal insight to the Bulldogs and Lady Bulldogs this season. And underneath, and that one just was a little bit too low for McCready to navigate home. And again, pass that just whizzed out of bounds, and that's the 26th turnover on Brescia. In the game tonight, Union has picked up, and I'm trying to check my points off turnovers, 33 points off Brescia turnovers. 18 on the shot clock. There's the turnover. That's only the 9th turnover for the Lady Bulldogs in this game, and from behind, the foul is going to be charged to McCready. That was one of those that Anna just could not stop her momentum. So the Lady Bearcats will play it on the side. We thank our good friends at E+ TV6 for their live coverage of tonight's game, along with those of you who are watching on the Union Digital Network. 10 on the shot clock for the Lady Bearcats, almost out of bounds with it. The jumper is short. Howell is swarmed under. There was nowhere to go, and the foul is called. Now, apparently they said there was just a little bit too much aggressiveness. And the foul is charged to Green. So Union will walk it slowly back down to the opposite end of the floor with 2:18 remaining for a couple of shots. And it will be Howell at the line. And I can tell you she had a marvelous career at Trinity Christian Academy, the 5'7" sophomore. And that is a wonderful school here in Jackson, Tennessee. The values and the education these young people get when they go to TCA is just second to none. 89-31, and checking back in, Sadie Nee, as well as Shiley Morrison. And you can definitely say the scoring has been well distributed tonight. Also checking into the game for Union is Claire Maxson. So everybody has played that has been part of the active roster for Mark Campbell tonight. On the inside, turnaround basket is there. Nicely navigated. Cox drops it through. As we get under 2 minutes. I said we might be finished by 7 o'clock. It's probably going to be a couple of minutes after, but as I say, a swiftly played game tonight. And nice block on the inside in the paint. They could not salvage it. but apparently it's going to go to Brescia anyway. Thursday night, 5:30 will be the tip-off for the Lady Bulldogs going against Lee University, one of their vaunted rivals, and the men will tip off at approximately 7:30. Down to 80 seconds remaining. And the jumper is short. And Sadie Nee, if she has an opening, instead she finds nicely shoved on the inside, and picking up some points tonight is Howell. That gives her 6. And the Lady Bulldogs have topped 90. And good drive on the inside by White. That's what you just have to continue to do. Even if you're hopelessly behind like this, you just got to continue to play as if the game was 0-0. I can guarantee you, when Mark Campbell had the Lady Bulldogs down against Drury, even though, particularly in the fourth quarter, there was not really much hope of a comeback, he had his team playing the same way, and all his philosophy is play it as if it's 0-0. And that's exactly what Brescia managed to navigate there. Under a minute to go. Thanks so many people for watching our Thanksgiving marathon of Steve Beverly's TV Classics over the weekend. 111 hours, longest marathon in Jackson television history. And Sadie Nee down the lane for the left-hand layup. So Sadie has picked up 4. And this could be the final offensive possession of note in the game, because Mark's not going to put this one up again. From the corner, short. Just not enough power on that one for Cox. So I have every reason to believe that they're just going to skate the rest of this game time out. And Union will take it home with a 93-35 victory over the Lady Bearcats of Brescia. Sadie's just going to wobble it back in 2. And it has been a dominating performance, especially in the second half. It was 42-16 at halftime. And Union, 51-19 was the edge in the second half as the Lady Bulldogs take it home 93-35. Let's run down some of the scoring for you so we can begin to wrap this up tonight. I'll give you the stats. Union 57% from the floor and 38% from behind the arc. Now, they missed some threes late in the contest. They were really right around 50% most of the game, but it was 6 out of 16. Free throws improved in the second half because there was one point in time that Union was at 43% from the free throw line. 62%. 13 of 21, and they out-rebounded Brescia in tonight's game, 38-23. Turnovers in the game, Union gave it up 9 times, Brescia 26, and Union captured, I'm looking at my totals here, Union 33 points off of Brescia's mistakes this evening, and that was a huge factor when you won the game by 58, and you got about 3/5 of that margin coming off of turnovers. That's just where the dominance comes in. For Brescia, 28% from the floor, tough night, 13 for 47, only 2 of 18 from behind the arc, and 58% at the free throw line. And as we mentioned, they gave up 26 turnovers in the game this evening. Let's look at the scoring for Brescia. Nobody hit in double figures, but Collins managed to lead them with 8. And you had... I was looking down at my sheet right here. Lindsay Payton picked up 5, as well as Cox. She had a 3-pointer late in the game, and she had 5 for Brescia. For Union, it was Jalencia Williams, and she's going to be our player of the game. Just a dominating performance. 16 points, only 5 rebounds, but, I mean, they had the give and go going tonight. 7 of 8 she was from the floor. And with those 5 rebounds, she had 1 block shot in the game. And so Jalencia is going to be our player of the game. And then you had Ashton Baker with 12. She was 5 of 9 from the field, and she managed to pick up 5 assists. She was all over the place looking for the open player, so the Flash had a huge game tonight as well. 11 points for Bailey Augustine, continuing her outstanding play. and she had 4 of 6 from the floor, 3 rebounds, and 4 steals in the game tonight. So she was a monster out on the court to deal with this evening. And then a few others that we'll mention. Samaria Thompson with 9, Emily Beard-Dunnigan with 9, and 8 for Shiley Morrison, who had an excellent game tonight, 7 for Shanique Lucas, but Shanique was doing everything else. 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. She was just tremendous all over the floor. A lot of the starters in tonight's game did not play a lot in the second half as Mark tried to give everybody, and in fact he did. The Lady Bulldogs had 14 players who got into action, and 12 of them scored. So that's how you distribute it around and make it a solid contest in this one, 93-35, Lady Bulldogs winning. All right, I want to explain to you very quickly before we get out of here is that Thursday and Saturday, when the Lady Bulldogs and Bulldogs open the Gulf South Conference race against Lee on Thursday night and Shorter on Saturday afternoon, we will be live on uuathletics.com. You just go to the website and then you go to the particular game, Union against Lee on Thursday night, and click on that little camera that says live video, and that'll be us. Because of the TSSAA playoffs that will be Thursday, Friday, and Saturday for the state championships in football, all of those games are going to be live on E-Plus TV6 in Jackson. Because of that, those 2 Union doubleheaders will not be live this weekend, but they will be airing on a tape delay, and I'll tell you Thursday night when they will be airing. It's possible it will be Sunday afternoon and Sunday evening, but I will let you know when they are going to be airing. But it's a tradition that Channel 6 carries the TSSAA state championships, and so I hope you'll be watching there for that. If you don't like that, then watch us online on uuathletics.com on the Union Digital Network. So that wraps it up for here. There you see one of our guys that's one of our terrific camera operators that keeps everything moving down on the floor. There they are upstairs. We got to give you everybody who has some action on all of this, and they got to give us away. I love that Peabody Tide baseball. And here you go, Paul Schultze, our executive producer and our ever-cool, ever-present director, and I'm hiding down below the computer here. So until we meet you again on Thursday night here at Fred DeLay Gymnasium, our cameras are operated by Billy Bolin, Eli Gerard, and Christopher Reasons. And our game, as I mentioned, executive producer Paul Schultze, and he is also our director. And the announcer on tonight's telecast has been selected by Worthy Road Studios and has been approved by Union University. So, for all of us from Worthy Road Studios, it's a happy night if you're a Union fan. Lady Bulldogs win 93-35, and until we're with you Thursday night, Steve Everly saying so long from the great hub city of West Tennessee.